Hello everyone, welcome back to Elite Tales. Here we discover the emotional and captivating stories about Elon Musk. In this video, we will capture the heartwarming moments of famous entrepreneur. Before we begin, I request you that please subscribe our channel for more interesting videos. It was Christmas Eve and the air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of pine trees and the promise of festive cheer. But for the residents of Willowbrook Old Age Home, the holiday season felt a little different this year. The laughter of children and the warmth of family seemed far away, replaced by quiet loneliness and the soft hum of the heating system. The home, though warm in temperature, was a cold reminder of the years gone by. Years filled with memories of loved ones, but now only silence lingered. Among the residents was 87-year-old Dorothy, who had spent the last 5 Christmases without her family. Her children had long since moved out of state, and they had not been able to visit this year. Dorothy sat in the common room, looking out the window at the falling snow, her hands wrapped around a cup of tea that had long since cooled. Her heart ached as she thought of the Christmases she once shared with her husband, who had passed away 5 years ago. "I'm so tired," Dorothy whispered softly, looking around at her fellow residents, who all seemed to share a similar sense of longing. What happened to the joy of Christmas? As the clock ticked closer to Christmas Day, the residents of Willowbrook continued to quietly pass the time, reading books, knitting, or simply staring out the window. The staff, kind-hearted and diligent, decorated the place with the usual garlands and tinsel, but there was an undeniable sense of emptiness in the air. For many of these elderly individuals, the holidays were a painful reminder of what they no longer had. Dorothy's eyes glazed over as she thought of her children. They had once been so excited to spend Christmas with her. But now the distance between them, both physical and emotional, felt like a vast chasm. "Why is it always like this?" she thought. "Why does Christmas have to be a reminder of everything I've lost?" But unbeknownst to Dorothy, something extraordinary was about to happen. A moment of magic that would turn her quiet, lonely Christmas into something unforgettable. Just as the final few minutes of the day trickled away, a soft knock echoed at the door of Willowbrook. The staff, who had been busy preparing for a quiet evening with their own families, looked up in confusion. No visitors were expected, at least not anyone they had been told about. The door opened, and in stepped none other than Elon Musk. Elon, the tech mogul known for launching rockets and transforming industries, had arrived not with a camera crew or reporters in tow, but simply with a heart full of holiday cheer. The staff, shocked but delighted, greeted him warmly. They hadn't expected anyone, let alone one of the world's most famous billionaires. "Good evening," Elon greeted with a genuine smile, looking around at the room full of elderly residents. His presence immediately caught the attention of Dorothy and the others, and for a moment, the room fell silent. "I'm sorry to interrupt your quiet evening," Elon continued, "but I wanted to do something special for you all. I hope you don't mind." With that, Elon handed over large bags filled with gifts. The room erupted in hushed gasps as the staff began distributing them, each gift carefully chosen for the recipient. There were blankets to keep them warm, puzzle books to entertain their minds, and for some, thoughtful items that brought back memories of their younger years, old-fashioned music boxes, framed family photos, and more. Dorothy sat frozen in her chair, not quite believing what she was seeing. This man, this stranger, had come all this way, to their small, quiet home, just to make their Christmas better. Why would he do this? Dorothy thought, her eyes brimming with tears. Why would someone like him, with so much to give, care about us? Elon made his way around the room, spending a few moments with each resident, sharing words of kindness and giving hugs to those who seemed most in need of them. To many of the elderly, Elon's visit was more than just a surprise. It was a gift in itself, a reminder that they mattered, that someone cared. As Elon approached Dorothy, he gently placed a small box in her hands. a warm, thoughtful gift that immediately brought tears to her eyes. She looked up at him, her voice trembling. "I don't have much to give you, but thank you. Thank you for showing me that Christmas still has some magic left." Elon smiled softly, kneeling beside her. "Dorothy," he said gently, "sometimes the smallest acts of kindness are the most powerful. And you and all of these wonderful people have so much to offer. Your wisdom, your love, your stories, that's the real gift." Dorothy clutched the box to her chest, feeling the warmth of his words fill her heart in a way she hadn't felt in years. It wasn't just the physical gifts that made this moment so special. It was the reminder that she and the other residents of Willowbrook were seen. They weren't forgotten. The other residents began to gather around, sharing stories and laughing as the evening unfolded. For the first time in years, the room felt alive with energy, not the quiet, lonely stillness that usually accompanied the holidays. The staff joined in too, and soon there was music playing softly in the background, and everyone was sharing memories of Christmases past. As the clock struck midnight and Christmas officially began, Elon took a step back and watched the transformation in the room. He had come to bring some holiday cheer, but what he saw was something far greater. An undeniable sense of community, of people lifting each other up. The holiday magic, he realized, was not in the gifts they exchanged, but in the way they all came together, even in the most unlikely of ways. As Elon stood in the corner of the room, his heart warmed by the scene unfolding before him, he realized that this was the true meaning of Christmas. The laughter of the elderly, their stories filling the air with nostalgia and joy, painted a picture that no amount of wealth or success could ever replicate. It wasn't the expensive gifts or lavish decorations that made the holiday special. It was the love, the care, and the shared sense of humanity that filled the room that night. For the first time in years, the residents of Willowbrook Old Age Home were not just surviving. They were living, and it was all because of a simple act of kindness. Dorothy, who had been sitting in her chair with a look of quiet wonder, now joined the others in the center of the room. With a smile on her face, she began to talk about her childhood Christmas memories, about the traditions her family used to have, and how much she missed the warmth of their togetherness. Her voice trembled slightly as she spoke, but her words were full of love and a longing for connection. It was as though, in that moment, she had found a way to bridge the gap between the past and the present, bringing her family and the joy of Christmas back to life within the walls of the old age home. Others followed her lead, sharing their own stories, remembering Christmases long gone, and recalling the faces of their loved ones. For the first time in a long time, the room was alive with stories. Stories of love, loss, and the hope that Christmas could still hold meaning even in their twilight years. Elon watched as the staff joined in the conversation, laughing and bonding with the residents. It was a beautiful, almost surreal sight. The kind of connection that had nothing to do with wealth, fame, or status, but everything to do with the shared human experience. He realized that, despite all the accomplishments and challenges of his own life, it was moments like this that truly mattered. These were the moments that would stay with him forever. As the evening wore on, Elon noticed a shift in the energy of the room. The once quiet and somber atmosphere had been replaced by a buzz of excitement and joy. People who had once been too reserved to speak up now found themselves sharing their dreams, their hopes, and even their laughter. The gifts Elon had brought them more than just material things. They had sparked something deep within them, a sense of belonging, a reminder that they were loved, and a sense of hope that their voices still mattered. One of the residents, a 92-year-old man named George, approached Elon with a twinkle in his eye. George had been sitting quietly in the back, observing the others with a thoughtful expression. But now he was filled with a newfound energy. "You know, Elon," George began, his voice full of warmth and wisdom, "I've lived through a lot. I've seen many Christmases come and go, and I've lost many people along the way. But what I've learned is that the best gift you can give anyone, especially at Christmas, is your time. The fact that you came here tonight, that you gave us your time, means more than anything you could have put in a box. Elon felt a lump form in his throat as he listened to George's words. It was a simple truth, one that many people forgot in the rush of modern life. The value of time, the importance of being present for one another. It was a lesson that Elon himself had learned over the years, but hearing it from George, someone who had lived through so much, made it hit home in a way that words could never fully express. The evening continued with more laughter, more shared stories, and more moments of connection. Elon had never imagined that a visit to an old age home would leave such an impact on him. He had come here with the intention of spreading Christmas cheer, but what he had found was something much deeper, a profound reminder of the power of human connection and the importance of kindness, especially during the holidays. The evening continued with more laughter, more shared stories, and more moments of connection. Elon had never imagined that a visit to an old age home would leave such an impact on him. He had come here with the intention of spreading Christmas cheer, but what he had found was something much deeper, a profound reminder of the power of human connection and the importance of kindness, especially during the holidays. As he sat down at one of the tables, an elderly woman named Alice shuffled over with the assistance of a staff member. She had a broad, kind smile that softened the lines of age on her face. Alice had been quiet for most of the evening, but now, with a twinkle in her eye, she spoke up. "You know, Elon," Alice said gently, her hands clasped together in her lap, "I've seen a lot of things in my time. I was born in a small town, and I remember the world being a much different place. But through it all, the one thing that's never changed is the importance of people caring for one another." Elon nodded, absorbing her words. Alice's voice was calm and steady, yet there was a depth to her words that conveyed a lifetime of wisdom. The room had gone quiet, and for a moment it felt as though the entire world had slowed down, giving them space to hear her message. "It's funny," Alice continued, her gaze far off as if she was thinking back on years gone by. "When you're young, you think Christmas is all about the presents and the food. But as you get older, you realize that the best part of the holidays isn't what you receive, it's the love you give, and the people you share it with." Elon sat back, reflecting on Alice's words. He had always been so focused on the business of life, the next project, the next challenge, that he sometimes lost sight of the simplicity of love and human connection. But tonight, sitting in this room with people who had experienced far more than he ever could, he realized that these were the moments that mattered most. Alice reached across the table, placing her hand on Elon's. "Thank you for being here, Elon. You've made a difference to all of us tonight. And sometimes that's all we really need. Someone to show us that they care." Elon's throat tightened, and for a moment, he struggled to find the right words. "Thank you, Alice," he finally said, his voice thick with emotion. "I've learned so much from you tonight." The room was filled with a soft murmur of agreement, as other residents nodded in silent affirmation. It wasn't just Alice's words. They were all thinking the same thing. The simple act of showing up, of sharing time with them, had meant more than anything else could. And they were grateful, more than words could express. As the evening wore on, more residents came up to speak with Elon. Some shared their favorite Christmas memories, others spoke of their hopes for the future, but all of them shared a common theme: the desire for connection, for a sense of belonging, and for the warmth of love in their lives. Elon, in turn, listened intently, offering words of encouragement and making each person feel seen and heard. One man, a 78-year-old named Robert, pulled Elon aside after dinner. "You know, Elon," Robert began, his eyes serious, When I was younger, I always thought I'd end up alone. My wife passed away years ago, and my children live far away. I thought that would be it for me." Elon listened quietly, waiting for Robert to continue. "But then something amazing happened," Robert continued, his eyes lighting up with excitement. "I came here to Willowbrook, and I met all these wonderful people. I've got a family now, Elon. Not the kind I expected, but the kind that really matters. And tonight I see that we are all still connected, still capable of love and joy. And it's all because we're here for each other." Elon was moved by Robert's words. He had come to the old age home hoping to spread a little Christmas cheer. But in return, he was receiving lessons in humanity, lessons in love, connection, and the deep bonds that form between people, no matter their age or circumstances. "I'm glad I came here tonight," Elon said, his voice quiet but sincere. "I've learned more than I ever thought possible." Robert smiled, patting him on the back. "That's the beauty of life, Elon. You never stop learning. And Christmas, well, Christmas is about more than just a day. It's about carrying that spirit with you all year round. It's about remembering that there's always someone who needs a little kindness, a little love. And maybe, just maybe, that's the greatest gift we can give." The evening was drawing to a close, but the impact it had on everyone in the room was undeniable. Elon found himself standing in the middle of a circle of residents, all of them gathered around with smiles on their faces. Some of them were holding hands, others were laughing, and there was an overwhelming sense of unity that filled the air. "You know, Elon," one of the women, named Gloria, said, "we may be older, but that doesn't mean we don't still have dreams. I've always wanted to see the ocean again. It's been years since I've felt the salt air on my face." Elon nodded, his mind working quickly. "Maybe we can make that happen," he said. "Let's see if we can organize a trip. What do you say?" The residents erupted into cheers and laughter. The idea of traveling to the ocean, something many of them had long given up on, was a dream they had never imagined would come true. But here, in this moment, with the holiday spirit alive and strong, it felt like anything was possible. "You really do make miracles happen, Elon," Gloria said, her voice filled with gratitude. Elon smiled, feeling a warmth inside that had nothing to do with the gifts he had given them, but everything to do with the connection they had shared. It was a gift beyond measure, one that would stay with him for the rest of his life. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, Elon knew it was time to leave. He stood up, taking a moment to look around at the faces of the people he had come to care about over the course of the evening. These were not just elderly residents of an old-age home. They were individuals, each with a unique story, a lifetime of experiences, and an undeniable ability to love and connect. "Thank you all for making this Christmas unforgettable," Elon said, his voice full of emotion. "You've reminded me that the true spirit of Christmas isn't about the gifts we give or the decorations we put up. It's about the connections we make, the love we share, and the time we spend with the people who matter most." The room fell silent as the residents absorbed his words. There was a moment of stillness, and then, as if on cue, the entire room broke into applause. It wasn't a loud or boisterous cheer, but rather a soft, heartfelt round of appreciation for the man who had come to make their Christmas brighter. Elon felt a lump form in his throat as the applause washed over him. He had been expecting to bring joy to others, but in return he had received something far more precious. He had been reminded of the importance of kindness, the power of connection, and the joy that comes from simply being present in the lives of those who need it most. As he stepped out of Willowbrook and into the cold night air, Elon felt a deep sense of peace. He had given a little, and in return he had received so much more. This was the true meaning of Christmas, the simple act of showing up, of giving of oneself, and of sharing in the joy and love that comes from being together. And as he drove away from the old age home, he made a promise to himself. No matter how busy life got, he would never forget the lessons he had learned that night. Because in the end, the most important thing we can do in this world is to love and care for one another. And as long as he lived, he would carry that lesson with him, spreading kindness and compassion wherever he went. As Elon Musk left the old age home that Christmas Eve, his heart was full in a way he hadn't expected. What began as a simple visit turned into a powerful reminder of what truly matters: human connection, kindness, and the wisdom that comes with age. The residents' stories and their unshakable love for life left an indelible mark on him. And as he drove away, he couldn't help but smile, knowing that he'd experienced something far more meaningful than any material gift. So, as we all reflect on what Christmas means to us, remember, it's not about what we give, but how we make others feel. Share love, embrace others, and remember that the smallest act of kindness can make the world a little brighter. Thanks for watching, and we hope this story warmed your heart. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because kindness is the gift that keeps on giving.